Hi everyone, this is me, Bafoy Farouk, and I'm delivering you another video on writing. And in this video, I will be telling you that mistake that many candidates, almost every candidate makes before they sit their first exam. And I believe that most candidates continue making this mistake in their writing even after they get lower scores, not realizing what mistake they actually made. So. The mistake, before talking about that, I'd like to congratulate everyone on this blessed month of Ramadan. I hope we have months ahead which is full of joy and happy, good news. And I hope that this month, by the end of this month, we'll get rid of all the negativity that has been surrounding us for the past 2 or 3 months. And we will be able to reunite with our students and teachers to enjoy the company of our close people again. So without any further ado, I'd like to get down to this business. So what is this mistake that almost everyone is making before they take their exam? They take their first exam, I mean. This mistake, I'd say, is looking at the assessment of English, looking at the assessment of your writing, as the assessment of your vocabulary and grammar only. Let's look at this sample which is provided here. Let's read the question first. As computers are being used more and more in education, there may soon be a debate whether we need teachers in classrooms at all. It means that computers are being used more and more in classrooms, like for educational purposes. And soon people will start doubting whether we need teachers in classrooms nowadays at all. Like maybe we don't need them, maybe computers can do everything, right? And what is important here is this, of course, like topic, right? And even more important for your task is to read this. In your opinion, what can teachers offer that computers cannot? Always, I don't know, mark this part of the question. You may underline it, you may highlight it if you have highlighter in front of you. So this is like extremely important for you to get good score. This part is called usually like instructional sentence. In the instructional sentence, you may be asked to argue, analyze, present reasons, provide solutions, discuss. I don't know, lots of tasks are present there, but this one asks your opinion. Like, in your opinion, what can teachers offer that computers cannot? Okay, let's look at this answer given below. This is not let's say introductory. This is not a whole essay. I'm just looking at the body paragraph, and we'll try to explain the mistake based on this body paragraph. Okay, so it says nobody can argue with the fact that the acquisition of knowledge is more fun and easier with computers. So we can see the main idea here. Acquisition of knowledge is more fun and easier with computers, right? Okay, so main idea is clear. And it continues like the mere activity of touching and exploring this device constitutes an enjoyable task for a child. So if children use computers or mobile devices, their learning might be enjoyable because they like using these gadgets, right? Like this is the, let's say, interpretation of this sentence. Well, this, accompanied by the relaxing attitude and software interactivity, usually contributes to a better grasping of new knowledge. See, this is the supporting argument, right? Better grasping of knowledge because of the interactive atmosphere that is created by these software. At a higher educational level, the availability of digital books, this is like second main idea. Digital books may be available, and simulators and other academic materials provide students with an ever accessible source of information. Here, another advantage of computers, right? Like what that otherwise would not be at hand. It means that ever accessible here means you can access it anytime you like, because it is on your laptop or a mobile phone or another device which is capable of retaining data in itself, right? Okay, now not bad. Language, grammar, vocabulary is almost perfect. Everything sounds great here, but there is one problem with this. I will ask you some questions and you can answer them on your own, okay? First of all, is it answering the question? This is the first question. Like, is this body paragraph, is the candidate here answering the question? Because our question was, in your opinion, what can teachers offer that computers cannot? In this body paragraph, we should really be discussing something that is unique to teachers, not advantages of computers here, right? We need to be discussing something that teachers can only provide in the classroom, but computers cannot. Let's say you have two ideas about that. So one idea you're going to discuss in the first body paragraph, and the next idea you're going to discuss in the second body paragraph. And after that, you will probably conclude the essay. But here the candidate is using very good language, and he will probably think, after leaving the exam hall, he or she will probably think, well, I did really well in writing test, and everything's going to be okay. Like, I'm going to ace at least 7.5 in my writing. But they will be disappointed, not knowing the mistake that they have made. And since teachers and others cannot read what they wrote in the actual exam, it is difficult to tell what was the problematic area there. So the problematic area here was the fact that he didn't answer the question here. He mentioned really nice ideas, really nice vocabulary, grammar is perfect, but he's not answering the question. In these kinds of cases, you may get, let's say for lexical resource and grammatical range and accuracy, you may get 8 because its vocabulary is sufficient for the topic, right? Phrases like acquisition of knowledge, explore, let's say software interactivity, and many other words that grasp knowledge here, many other words that are related to the topic, it's sufficient. But task response, like whether you're responding to the task, actually it's very low, maybe not even 5, because 5 partially addresses the task. Here it's not addressing the task at all. Well, I'd say like a little bit like partially addressing, because well, he's answering the question, but in a slightly different way. His topic is related to whether computers can, his ideas are related to whether computers can teach us here. But he's not answering the question. This was not the question, but still somehow he's close to the topic. That's why he may end up with 5 in task response and 6 maximum what he can achieve here. So let's imagine that this guy, this candidate got 5 in task response and 8 in lexical resource and grammatical accuracy, and 8, 8, 16, and 5 will be 21. Divided, it will be 7. Still not bad, you see. But it's not 7.5 because they only like at least 7.5, and I'm gonna get 8. So what I mean here is it may lower your score. It doesn't matter how much, by half point, by 1 whole point, it doesn't matter how much, but it will decrease your point nonetheless. So how can this be avoided? Always read the instructional part of the question, like whether you need to discuss, analyze, present causes, or provide solutions. I don't know. Always pay attention to this. If you're not sure whether like you're drifting away from the topic, keep asking yourself this question. Is it something that teachers offer but computers cannot? If your sentence does not answer this question, you're probably drifting away from the topic. And how does this drifting away from the topic happen? Candidates usually, let's say, tend to paraphrase the keywords in the question and trying to find those perfect words with perfect grammar. They end up saying something different because candidates usually go from ideas to the words. So what you're thinking may be slightly different than what you're writing, because readers go from words to ideas. They cannot read what ideas you had in your mind. They can only read what words you put in your essay. That's why make sure that the words that you put in your essay are, let's say, symmetrical, the same as the ideas that you have in your mind. So let's look at better task response for the same question. The question was, let me remind you, what can teachers offer in the classroom that computers cannot? First of all, unlike computers, teachers are always capable of fulfilling the need for human interaction in the learning process. As teachers in classrooms, there's the necessity for a human being to be able to determine what the specific needs of each individual are. It means like teachers can always have communication, like talk to students in the process of learning. And when teachers are there, a human always needs to determine what specific needs they have. And when teachers are there, they can provide, they can let's say meet this demand, human demand in the classroom. And their knowledge, their skill of teachers like is really important to explain and adapt complex concepts, like complex ideas here to students with different levels, with different understanding, pace of understanding, let's say. And this cannot be done by computer humans, like mimicked here means like this cannot be kind of replicated. This cannot be done in the same way by computers. No matter how sophisticated, it doesn't matter how perfectly, let's say, softwared computer is, it cannot complete these tasks. Now, is it answering the question? Is it mentioning something that teachers can do, but computers cannot? Of course it is, because look at it. First of all, it starts with unlike computers. Like it means computers cannot do this, but teachers can do it, right? And he's sticking to the keywords by saying cannot be mimicked by computer. It means like cannot be done by computer. The question was computers cannot and teachers can, right? So one way to get better score in task response is to always stick to keywords in the question, in the instructional, let's say, sentence of the question. So I hope this will help you before you enter your test, and I think it will help you correct some of your mistakes there. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if it took long to explain this. Have a nice weekend ahead. Thanks a lot. This was Buffalo Farooq with you, and stay tuned for more videos of this kind.